Hello everyone! I've decided to make a series about the characters in Wriostheley and discuss their portrayal, but also who they were in real life. So for this video, I'm doing something on Thomas Wriostheley because I think it is a very complex character and its portrayal in Wriostheley is, for me, one of the most problematic. So let me explain. Who was Thomas Wriostheley? Thomas Wriostheley and I apparently share the same birthday. He was born on the 21st December 1505. He died on the 30th July 1550. He was a Secretary of State, a Lord Chancellor, and a Lord High Admiral. He didn't only serve one king, he served two kings, Henry VIII and Edward VI. Now, what I think we need to talk about when we talk about Thomas Wriostheley is that he was a man of ambition, but for me he's also someone highly opportunistic and not very loyal. He's loyal to himself. And that's why the portrayal in Wriostheley is a bit problematic, because he seems to be extremely loyal to Cromwell. And in history, that's not what actually happened. Wriostheley served as a loyal instrument of King Henry VIII when he decided to break with Rome. He played a really important part in the dissolution of monasteries. He was giving what Henry VIII wanted. In 1524, at the age of only 19, he entered a career at court, and that's when Cromwell himself started being interested in the young man, thinking that he had lots of potential. I think that Cromwell didn't see what was going to happen coming, really. He actually entered Cromwell's services and started to work with him, to work for him. The truth is, Wriostheley spent a huge amount of his time working for Henry VIII through Cromwell. He played a very important part, as I said before, with the dissolution of the monasteries, and he was even, rewarded for his service. He was granted extensive lands between Southampton and Winchester, once belonging to the abbeys of Beaulieu and Titchfield. He became Henry VIII's ambassador in Brussels, and in late 1539, Anne of Cleves was due to come from the German duchy to England, and Wriostheley was to lead the naval escort. So here what's very interesting is that Wriostheley played a big part in the match with Anne of Cleves. He played a big part with the dissolution of monasteries. But then he's going to realize that things are changing, that people are starting to say other things, that Norfolk has his new niece, Catherine Howard, that the king is very interested in. And he's starting to understand that Cromwell might have too many enemies, even for Wriostheley, and that it might be a good time now to jump out. And it's what he's going to do, basically. Despite the fact, and that's what I want you to understand, and that's why I say he's highly opportunistic, despite the fact that he played a huge part in the dissolution of monasteries, then he's going to jump out and support Norfolk's Catholic cause and the fact that Norfolk is going to plan the downfall, in a way, of Cromwell. In 1540, Wriostheley is made one of the king's principal secretaries with Wriostheley. This is a scene that is discussed and that is portrayed in Wriostheley, Season 2, Episode 5. But now we'd like to discuss with you actually how it happened and how it's quite different from reality.
Nothing eludes it, nothing is beyond it. From now on, everything starts with you, and with you, everything stops. Hurry. Yes, and I am to be made Lord Great Chamberlain, Chief of the Household. The Earl of Essex died last night, and, well, I'm to be given his title.
So here you have Wriostheley, and he's super happy. He got promoted, and obviously Cromwell got promoted further. My problem with that is that here it almost shows that, Wriostheley is still very much loyal to Cromwell. Nowhere in this episode 5, or in the show, you see Wriostheley playing, two sides at the same time. And obviously, it's through Cromwell's eyes, so would he have known? But I just think it would have been nice in the show, even though it's through Cromwell's eyes, I think it would have been nice to have some hints, because Wriostheley was really not, especially at the end, loyal to Cromwell. When he was giving lands between Southampton and Winchester, he was given the Abbey of Titchfield for good service to the king. And he made it a country house, which became the family's ancestral seat. Wriostheley's noble parentage and strong personality, which I think we don't really see in the show, kind of overshadowed Sadler's, who was like a commoner, who was really much more like Cromwell himself. I think it's what we forget. We forget Wriostheley was from a noble family. We forget that Wriostheley probably thought that he was better or superior to Cromwell, like Norfolk kept saying. Again, you don't have any of this in the show. You don't even have hints of this. And I think that's a problem. You know, and how could you have done it if it's through the eyes of Cromwell? Well, you could have made Cromwell walk into the room where Wriostheley might have made a comment about Norfolk being right. You know, I think, or maybe, do we just want to pretend that Cromwell didn't see it coming? I think that would have been kind of impossible for Cromwell not to see that Wriostheley would eventually and ultimately betray him. What happened is that there are rumors that I think are like very close to the truth, that obviously Wriostheley is going to start betraying Cromwell. And the first betrayal, really, apart from the fact that he's going to side with the lords that are going to bring him down, is also that he told the king that Cromwell was indiscreet about Henry's inability to consummate his marriage to Anne of Cleves. And here we have it. Like, my point is that the problem I have is that we have Wriostheley's betrayal shown towards at the end. But it's just that, like, we don't have his complexity, the complex character in the show at all. And so I think here it's almost, and I don't know, maybe it was the whole point, like to make it like as a shock to everyone, to the readers, to the viewers, but also to Cromwell. But I think that ultimately Cromwell must have known, like he knew everyone, he had so many networks, he knew that he had so many spies. Are you telling me that he really trusted Wriostheley that much? I just think that this portrayal of Wriostheley being a good servant to Cromwell for so long and Cromwell never realizing it, I just don't buy it. And I think that just in the show, just a hint that he had maybe doubts would have made it better and would have actually done Cromwell justice. Because like the fact that this man who had so much power, so many spies, such a big network, didn't see when he was betrayed, like, makes no sense to me. Now, the life of Wriostheley obviously didn't end with Cromwell. He died in 1550, and I said that he was going to serve Henry VIII, but also Edward VI. What I think is interesting is that with the downfall of Cromwell, so he's siding with Norfolk. Then when the problem with Catherine Howard are going to happen, he's going to distance himself from Norfolk, but he's going to do it again in a very smart way. By 1542, it was said that Wriostheley governed almost everything in England. He had become one of the most trusted advisors of Henry VIII. And isn't it weird in many ways that we don't talk so much about him, or that we make him look a bit like aloof and a bit, you know, he was a ruthless politician. He was, you know, extremely intelligent. He knew how to jump out, when to jump out. And I think here, obviously, we have no clue of his kind of intelligence and his political abilities in the show Wolfhall. Very interestingly as well, he's going to side with the Catholic bishop, Stephen Gardiner, and he supported Gardiner's crackdown against Lutherans' opinions. And he's just so good at, you know, following the trend and never being judged for jumping boats. And I think that is such incredible when he managed to do it under Henry VIII's reign. Obviously, the fact that he keeps changing boats means that he's going to make enemies and he's going to lose his, you know, place as principal secretary, same as Rolf Sadler, who's going to lose it as well. Overall, we tend to forget that Wriostheley was also the one trying to keep things kind of we never call that Henry VIII's church via media, but it really is. It's even more than Elizabeth, because Henry didn't really move to the Protestant side. It was much more a Catholic country still at the time, even though there was the break with Rome. I'm talking here about beliefs. And we tend to forget what he did to Anne Askew. As Lord Chancellor, he became notorious for torturing Anne Askew, a self-confessed Protestant, personally operating the wheel on the rack. We forget that Wriostheley, as I said, was a ruthless political man, but also a disloyal, someone who had very low morals, and someone who would do anything to remain in favor. He even played a role in trying to get Catherine Parr arrested. He's the one who secured the royal warrant for Catherine's arrest. But obviously, when he went to present it to the king, Catherine had outsmarted him. And he was presented like a fool. Along the way, he's made lots of enemies because he kept jumping boats. And also by jumping boats, he created lots of problems for himself. But you see what I mean? Like this type of personality, the fact that he was so ambitious, that he was so ruthless, that he was scheming, it's absolutely not shown in Wolford. So if you just look at Wolford, even in those years, you just seen someone extremely loyal, a good servant to Cromwell. Well, I think that we tend to forget who he was and what he actually did. And I think I would have liked, even though it was through Cromwell's eyes, I think I would have liked like some scenes where Cromwell arrives in a room and he just heard something. But obviously you could say that he dismissed it and he believed that Wriostheley was a good man. All of this. But like, I just think that we don't have that part of Wriostheley's personality and what he actually is going to do. Let me know in the comments what you think about Thomas Wriostheley and his betrayal of Cromwell. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!